15,000 people and are acquired by a foreign firm. Yes, we have an economic problem. An economic flight has left Ferguson, Missouri. It's not the only cause of the problem, but it's certainly an underpinning issue of the problem. So what can we do about this here? Why have we not heard from the leadership in St. Louis? If I were to ask you, who is the mayor of St. Louis, what would you say? It's a trick question. I don't know either. You've not seen his voice. What's happened? First of all, they have a city manager, and the mayor's job pays $350 a month. In large part, it's ceremonial. And the city manager, in turn, gets to appoint the officials that work in the judiciary. The prosecutors tend to be workers in the law department and surrounding counties and neighborhoods that come to Ferguson to work. When they come there, they're also buttressed and supported by the local police department. Since most of their revenue is generated for the entire city of Ferguson from fines and fees off driving violations, it's an incestuous pool of fees, fines, taxes that oppresses people. Now, in the words of Plato, this is the price we pay when good people don't engage in politics. You will be governed by your inferiors. When you've got 67% of the population is African American, and we've not come out and voted in our numbers, and we aren't represented at the initial point of contact in the judiciary with the police department, you could kind of say, I saw it coming. The second part of what we see going on in Ferguson, that's a national trend. The institutionalized part of the poverty and poor people being oppressed. What am I saying about this? Mr. McCullough, the prosecutor, if you will, is 63 years of age. I don't want to fix the blame, I want to fix the problem. And I want you to see exactly where it lies. The prosecutor had lifelong dreams of being a policeman. Unfortunately, he lost a leg to cancer, so he could not become a policeman. Mr. McCullough said jokingly, so I did the next best thing, I became a prosecutor. Mr. McCullough's wife, his mother worked in the courthouse. His brother, his cousins have also been police officers. When the governor first said that the National Guard had to come in because of the response from the local Ferguson militarized police, this was the only man, the prosecutor, Mr. McCullough, that was outraged at the governor's response. He says, how could he step over and onto our good officers while they were coming out in full riot gear and oppressing peaceful demonstrations? Well, this goes back to voting, young people. Mr. McCullough is a Democrat, just sought re-election in November, and he won and he ran unopposed. Well, here in the city of Chicago, we have a state's attorney, Anita Alvarez, who worked with Dick Devine, who worked with Mayor Daley, that put all these young men in jail. Never said a word about it. And currently she's running unopposed. I pray to God that somebody would run against our state's attorney as well. And run for the right reason. If you've got 24,532 tickets placed on 67% of the population in Ferguson, Missouri, we're getting chewed up right here in Chicago with red light cameras, speeding cameras, tickets on permits, tickets on stickers for your windshield. Tickets, tickets, tickets. Something has to work on the south side besides speeding cameras, camera lights, and fines and fees. Mr. McCullough has run unopposed in Missouri. We can do better than that. I want us to have a state of emergency declared on contract compliance and enforcement. What would that look like? Not fixing the blame, fixing the problem. We have laws on the books from the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. We've got laws on the books from our Department of Education on our children are supposed to be given their individualized education plan for all the services that they need for speech and stuttering and stammering and nutrition. Where's the law enforcement? The creditors that became predators and overcharged us that have now been able to recoup all of their money. Their credit score never went down. And now they are the ones that dole out the credit. Nothing's changed. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you, Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster. The system that has been put in place is worse than the one we had before. We've got a problem in all the Fergusons. And it starts around, if I will, some weak leadership. And we've seen it in the scriptures. Yesterday, I had the privilege of being on the Illinois Community College Board. I was downstate in Springfield at the college board meeting, only to realize that we have roughly a $35 billion budget in the state. And our economic development budget is roughly $167 million. Out of a $35 billion budget. Between our pension and obligations of $8 billion, past debt, past bills, we can only free up $167 million to invest in issues and programs that can be prophylactic and can be preventative and be beneficial into the future. $167 million in economic development programs versus $8 billion in past pension obligations that we have to pay into annually. Those that are pensioned did their job, they did their work, they deserve their money. The point I'm making is that your money has already been spent. If you're not angry, that means you're not informed. Somebody's gonna get a cut. Now that the campaign is over, and make no mistake about it, then and now, I'm a supporter of Governor Pat Quinn. I respect the governor-elect, Mr. Bruce Rauner. In all fairness to Governor Bruce Rauner, he's gonna need to raise the taxes. I'm gonna tell you what he cannot tell you. I wanna be fair. Mayor Rahm Emanuel needs to raise your taxes. That's just the fact of the matter in order for us to pay for our services. But I'm tired of us getting pickpocketed, picked over. When it's time for anything good, we get nothing. And when there's everything bad, we get a double portion. Leadership vacuum. In conclusion, I happen to turn to the book of Isaiah. In the 3rd chapter, so many of our crises come from a leadership vacuum. They suffered, they went through a time of great prosperity because there was leadership and fairness. However, Isaiah could foresee a time when God will remove the better leaders, leaving behind the babes, leaving behind those that had no institutional memory, those that did not understand how to run public institutions of education, of hospitalization, of food programs. Now we've gone into a period of abuse and misuse. How can we suffer in a land of so many? The lessons I want you to take away on leadership: we have to recruit and be about the business of appointing the best people available, regardless of party. We want to hire the best talent available. No more cronyisms. Let a person come up and speak to the people. No more middle of the night appointments without qualified people being able to run institutions. We have to pay and reward people that are dutiful servants. The mayor of Ferguson, Missouri makes $350 a month. Either we should pay people to be in office to do the job, or we should remove the office and the title so people aren't confused. The problem in having a government set up like that is it becomes a pass-through for the private sector to appoint the leaders of the institution because the public sector is so neutered and weakened. Leadership. Supporting leaders in their efforts to promote good government and preventing social and economic exploitation. Raising up and training our children so that they will see themselves in their rightful place, and they will know there's a burden and there's a cost to leadership. Our children should know there's also a privilege to be in leadership. There is a burden to being free. We cannot always complain about what they did to us. We can be state's attorney in Ferguson, Missouri. We can be the mayor of Ferguson, Missouri. Mark Lovelace, we can be the state's attorney for Cook County. We need to control our destiny. Let's do it in God's name and in the name of Isaiah.